My group members, Lene, Kaya, and I, were all influenced by family, friends, and our school. Our social environment setting is Tennessee State University, and our family and friends helped us adapt to that environment. And school also changed our physical environment, our physical social environment. Our family and friends helped us adapt to Tennessee State with their continuous love and support throughout the semester. Because without family and friends, it would be harder to adapt to a new environment, especially for Lene and I being from a different state and Kaya being from a different city. But all in all, being at Tennessee State helped us become more mature and more independent by being away from our regular homes, and our families and friends helped us adapt to that process. So, my adaptation to being at Tennessee State, it was slightly it was very different, especially being in a new state and being in such a large city such as Nashville. Going from Birmingham to Nashville, it's not too different, but it's different, but it's also the same because Birmingham and Nashville are kind of the same, but they're different because it's in a new state and my parents aren't there and my usual friends aren't there. But luckily I had family who lives in Nashville, and actually one of my cousins go to Tennessee State. They're in grad school, enrolled at TSU. Um Being with them actually helped me adapt to Tennessee State better because it gave me a familiar face at TSU, and so it was easier to adapt to being in a new city with new people and new experiences and new things to see and things to do. And actually on my birthday on August 22nd, I went with my cousin because I had nobody else to go with. So I went with my cousin and she showed me around the city, her and her boyfriend. And on August 23rd, it's two of my terms actually. On August 23rd, my friend Asia, me and her from Birmingham together. She was one of my friends that made it easier to go to TSU as well because she was from here, and we also went to the same elementary school. And yeah, we went out for my birthday on August 23rd to BB King's restaurant. And so when I found a friend in her is when it became easier to be at TSU because we were kind of going through the same things. And if we wanted to go home, I could ride with her, she could ride with me, and she just made it like a home, and she made it like a comfort to being at TSU. And September 23rd is when we had our first band performance, and that's when I really started to meet my band friends. And when I met my band friends, that's when it also got easier, and that helped me adapt to TSU as well because then I had more familiar faces, and it just became more like home when I found those that come in connection with those band people, because band people, they instantly graduate towards each other, they automatically click. And so yeah, September 23rd, and then October 30th is when we had our band like Halloween party, and that's when I met the current friends that I have now. They're also in band as well, but it became easier once, because after that, that's when we would start hanging, like we were inseparable. Like even from October 30th to November 20th, we were together every single day. And so that made it more easier to adapt to Tennessee State because they also made it like home as well. Like they're really like my brothers and sisters. So without family and friends, it wouldn't be as easy to adapt to that social environment, especially being in a new state. And so I'm glad that I met my family and friends because it helped me become adapted to being in a new state. So yeah, Lene, it's your turn.
From our families helping us to get to TSU, to getting nurtured by our university, to friends helping and encouraging us to stay and finish our first semester strong. Family made up 5% of my journal. Friends made up 75%, and the other 20% of it was dedicated to school. Although I was stuck on campus most of the time, it was pretty much intertwined with everything else. For me, I didn't feel homesick, which I honestly thought was weird. But I think to me, it was because it was like an extended band trip, or even a trip to my dad's house, like when I used to go over his house during summer break. For me, the most interaction coming from my parents was a call at least 1 or 2 times a week, which I always had to initiate for some reason. Or even when they sent me, most times I didn't call for money, so they normally sent it to me on their own, except for once or twice where I needed money when I was in school. Any other time was the 2 times my mom came up to visit me. The second time, she actually took me to the grocery store, while the 3 days she was there the first time, I got to go out to eat every day, basically. I couldn't help but wonder when she left if it was normal for me to not miss home, or if being homesick or not being homesick was a bad thing. I even wrote, is it a bad thing that I didn't really feel anything? I mean, yes, I was happy to see her, but I haven't felt homesick. That was written on September 26th of this year. For school, I would say without school, specifically going to TSU, I wouldn't have been able to meet my saxophone buddies because I wouldn't be in the AOB, so therefore I wouldn't be able to meet them. We named our little group Trainwreck after we jumped over a train that was not moving. We were just trying to get to the other side because it was starting to get dark. Unfortunately, I didn't start my journal until long after I met them for the first time. But without them, I don't think I would have had the first semester of college experience I had. One of my entry, I mentioned them, and it states, Alex and I had planned on leaving early, but we ended up staying the whole time due to the meeting up with the members that make up Trainwreck. That was on October 30th. That was the day we had the band social, which was the Halloween social because Halloween party. And because of them, we ended up staying longer until it actually ended. For friends in my journal, though, I specifically wrote about Alex a lot because we went to high school together, and her being at TSU with me seemed to make everything a lot easier. I also talked about my saxophone buddies, of course, because in the beginning when I did have a band, we spent a lot of time together. It was mostly Alex, though, that I interacted with in general, even outside of band, and if anything that didn't do with band, or even classes. It wasn't that I didn't want to make new friends, but with COVID, we enjoy being in Alex's room and watching movies. There's not a single entry I can quote simply because there are too many where we enjoyed ourselves. Even if I didn't make many friends outside of band, I think having one close friend that you know you can rely on can take you a long way.
In my journal, 43% of my journal is about my family, 37% of my journal is about my friends, and 20% is about the experience I had in Tennessee State University. My move-in day, August the 12th, was a very exciting day for me because I never really got to be free to do what I want when I wanted to. And with all these new people, I was very nervous to meet new people, but I got out of my comfort zone and met a lot of people like Rodney, Kirsten, Christy, and more. My family and friends in school has helped me in multiple ways during this tough time. November 15th was my 19th birthday. I wasn't that excited because due to COVID, we have to follow strict rules to keep everyone safe. So I didn't throw a party or anything to keep my friends and family safe. As I was bummed out that whole day, my friends and family surprised me with a big birthday dinner, saying they'll always be here during the tough times and they'll always be by my side. As I cried tears of joy, I thought I would never have met so many people from school to celebrate this big day with me. I am very thankful that I have people to be on my side to always see me grow during my college experience. College is a very stressful thing for me, but as my mother says, you have to look at the bigger picture. Don't you want to have your own pet hospital one day? Yes, Mom, as I reply. Ever since then, I think about the bigger picture of how these 4 years will make a big difference in my life. In conclusion, our school, Tennessee State University, helped us get more mature and more independent by the day. By being away from our regular homes, as well as our families and friends, helping us along the journey of our first semester of college. But it's always room to improve, as our teachers helped us along the way with encouragement and and flexible schedules. As we wrap this semester up, we'll always know that we have the love and support from our friends and family in school.